today, and we've had a whole 2 weeks of the British media telling us how great Harry Maguire is and how great he is when he plays and how good United are and the win ratio when he plays. And as a Man United fan, and it's not just on Maguire, I'm talking about McTominay, Ericsson, Johnny Evans, just not good enough today in that, central spine. As a Man United fan, and many will know, Harry Maguire plays most of his games against Sheffield United and Copenhagen and Reading and teams like that. He doesn't play these big games. Last season when we got 17 clean sheets, he didn't play. This is the problem. When he played today, he's just not good enough. Erling Haaland should have scored 4 goals. He only scored 2. And I think that's why Pep Guardiola was having a word with him saying, look, you've scored 2 goals, it's a good result, but you should have had more. There was more goals for you there today. And actually, you could say that Erling Haaland, with 2 goals, had a bad game because he should have scored more. There was so much space. Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire are never going to be able to deal with him. I mean, Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire against Erling Haaland is like a race between 2 deck chairs and a Porsche. They're just not going to deal with it, and they couldn't deal with it. And look, whether that's by design from Ten Hag, I don't think Varane was fit. Martinez isn't fit. We didn't buy a centre-back in the summer. But look, I'm not here to talk about Man United. Man United are a mid-table team. Sacking the manager's not going to change that. The club is broken.
Listen, Goldbridge is so right with everything he says there. Firstly, on Maguire, this British media nonsense. British media nonsense of this was a Maguire renaissance. Maguire is the man. Ten Hag has ruined him. His win percentage. We all knew what it was. It was a nonsense. They've looked for a good statistic. They've downplayed why the statistic was good. They gaslit Man United fans, and we saw another poor performance from him. But aside from that, what Goldbridge said there at the end, Man United are a mid-table team. Before that, listen, before we go any further, hit the like button, please. Bell notifications, turn them on. You might be a subscriber. There's 350,000 of you. But notifications don't always get sent. So turn on the bell notifications and set up push messages on your phone from YouTube so you know when we go live. But what he said there about Man United being a mid-table team is right. We all get sucked in with these false storms. And I tweeted in the summer that with the signings we were making, I thought we could close the gap and maybe even challenge this year. And I am so wrong for believing that. But I felt what would happen is that Ten Hag would change his style of football more so than he did in the first year. I thought it was okay first year. I thought we would get better. We'd be more progressive. We'd play out from the back more. I believe that we would maintain the structure of our team, a great shape, a good defensive shape at times. But none of that has happened. It's fallen apart. And he has now, as a manager, stated that I'm never going to play the style of football you saw from my team at Ajax because that isn't how Man United play. I have a different group of players and we're not going to change. None of that makes sense. I've already explained that today in other videos with who he's signing, their profiles, how we're trying to play. It's a mess. We're run like a League One team. We spend like the biggest team in the world. We have no plan. Nobody's pulling in the right direction. And when you have the media gassing up our players like Maguire, that's when you know we're in trouble. And I am getting to a point now where I'm not even upset at these defeats. As expected. I keep being told have high standards as a Man United fan, and I do for how I want us to be run. But in terms of my standards for what I expect from this team, this manager, in reality right now, it's the lowest it's ever been, genuinely ever been in my life.
Football department think they're all now at this moment in time unsure, and we can sit here and say get on with it, but take it into your own life if you're unsure at work, if people are undermining you from above. And to be fair, I mean, we need Daniel Radcliffe, not Jim Radcliffe. Honestly, I honestly don't know how it can change. And
Gary Neville's right in what he said, and rivals hate it, the media hates it. It's not about the ownership. It always is. And there's almost, it's not quite, I don't know if the word's subliminal, but if you just watch Gary Neville talk during this podcast, just go watch the podcast. Brilliant podcast. The whole time he's talking, the goddamn roof behind him is leaking. You don't even need to listen to his words. Old Trafford is falling down. You go to the toilets in Old Trafford and the floors are full of urine and excrement because the plumbing is so bad. The stadium and its current rusting, the holes, the leaks, the poor sanitation. It's the embodiment of what the Glazers have done to this club. And you will never be able to create a successful team under their leadership, the way we are being run now in 2023. The new people come in and they get genuine change, maybe. But we still don't know where this £1.3 billion is going to be spent. It's an absolute joke.
He said, okay, midfield's not quite strong enough. Let's get Amrabat in, okay? So you get Amrabat in to manage the midfield. So he's the Rodri of their team, okay? What does he do? He takes him off at half-time. What is he thinking, the manager? Can you explain that to me?
Keown is spot on here. And I've mentioned the Glazers on here. I've mentioned the gaslighting of Maguire. And this video clip I saw really stood out to me because the manager isn't free from criticism, even though we know he isn't the main problem at the club. And this is where I think balance is needed from Man United fans. Taking off Amrabat for Mason Mount and moving Scott McTominay into that DM role is gross negligence. It is malpractice. It's a mistake that is so obvious, so clear, that every single Manchester United fan in the world knew it was a problem. Every pundit in the world knew it was a problem. I've listened, obviously we heard, if you're watching in England, Gary Neville was talking. I've seen punditry and the commentators from other channels talk, and they were all shocked. The fact that everybody knew this was a catastrophic, irreversible mistake to make in the game, and the manager didn't, and by the way, it's not the first time he's done this, is why I call it gross negligence, malpractice. In most other high-paid professions, if you make a mistake this bad, you lose your job. Genuinely, it is that bad. So as much as I know that we're never going to create a long-standing winning team with the way we're currently run, I'm also just not going to stand there and forgive those types of catastrophic mistakes, especially with the interview that Ten Hag has given, stating that he will never play his brand of football at Manchester United. The idea of keeping Ten Hag now is nonsensical to me. Completely pointless in every single which way.
Why? Made us play on Friday like we were pre-drinks, blood. They made us play on a Monday like we were an afterthought, like Will Smith in his 26-year marriage, fam.
Oh, just...
Cloth spur, because we're top of the table. We need RESPECT like Aretha Franklin, blood. Just know these man came out looking like Crystal Palace in the first half, but you see the second half, they ended up as crystal methamphetamine in a spliff, blood. The Sons of Anarchy, fam. We got Heung-min Son, Madison, Richarlison, Johnson, Emerson, fam. We got more sons than Nick Cannon, blood. The referee, he tried to screw us like his name was Phillips or Flathead, blood. It was a handball, fam. Andre Ayew handled the ball like George Michael, fam. Michael Barrymore, blood. Neil Patrick Harris, fam. It was blatant, but we held on, fam, and we are 5 points clear. Cinco de Mayo settings.
Listen, I love it. I love it. Listen, honestly, that's probably the best intro to a YouTube video I have ever seen. Big up you, the GOAT of this space right now. There's no doubt, especially from a comedic point of view. That was absolutely tip fucking top banging.
This is one of the downsides of people having a lot of money, whether it's theirs or someone else's, and not having a lot of football intelligence and paying way too much money for players. But there's no doubt about it. Chelsea will get there. It's about how quickly they get there and whether Pochettino is going to take them. I've never felt that Pochettino will win them in the Premier League. I thought that he would get them to a point where they operate in the top four, but that's not Chelsea's blueprint. Right now, at this moment in time, even that argument looks unsustainable because they're not great. They're not anywhere near what we think they should be and what they could be. But the bottom line is that Chelsea will get there. They will get there. Believe me, they'll get there.
Made a lot of mistakes.
I agree with Simon Jordan there. I think he's spot on about Chelsea. It isn't. I know a lot of their fans don't like what they're doing, and it's going to take time because they are trying to rebuild everything. But I do believe the owners of Chelsea are trying to make them the best football team in the world, and they're trying to make that sustainable. I understand the standards that Roman had was so high and different, but football evolved, and you couldn't just sack managers and spend money anymore to win. You have to have something that's a little bit more sustainable, something that's more long-term in terms of style of play and how you operate. And Chelsea are trying to get there. The owners have most certainly made mistakes in their early days. I'm not denying that. They've definitely made mistakes. And I think it's very clear that that has happened. But they will get there. The question is whether Poch is good enough. And that's why maybe it's a little bit of confirmation bias for me personally, but I'm still not convinced by him. And I never have been convinced of him as a manager. Does he have those minerals to get him through? But I thought of the weekend, look, we saw a Chelsea team again that were good in terms of their general play, but it was putting that ball into the back of the net. That's a signing issue and a personnel issue more so than anything else. Yes, they've got to develop thicker skins and a better mentality, but they need to bring in some goal scorers. And I think goals do change games. I don't think it. I know it to be a fact. And if they score more earlier in games because they've got bagsmen out there, their fortunes will change. I get why their fans are angry. I get why they're frustrated. But for someone who has the worst owners in the Premier League, bar none, Chelsea have made mistakes, but I do think they're going in the right direction. Listen, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's tuned in as ever. Please subscribe to all the YouTube channels that I've featured on the show. Obviously, Mark Goldbridge's That's Football and Expressions. I didn't even comment really on Expressions this video just because I needed something to lighten my day up. And I didn't watch it on Friday. I watched it this morning. And yeah, one of the best bits of content out there. Man's killing it right now, 110%. Listen, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again.